Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story? This was not supposed to be my life. I grew up wanting what any young woman would want: a successful career, a family, a life of my own making. I was supposed to be free. I had dreams and I had ambitions. I wanted to work in marketing, live in the city, have friends over for dinner parties. I never thought that I would end up here in this small room wearing these beads and garments of being a Sangoma. This was not the life that I wanted. It's not that I don't respect the culture. I grew up in a household that is really deeply connected to our roots. My gogo grandmother was known in our family as the person who connected the whole extended family. She was the glue who was holding us together. And because of her wisdom, we were able to achieve the things that we achieved in life. But I wanted to be modern. I wanted to follow the Christian religion, but I guess that I cannot. So I have come here as well to ask your listeners if it is possible for someone to be a Sangoma, like truly a Sangoma, and then you are a Christian at the same time. Whilst you have the belief in your ancestors, that your ancestors, they live in you, and your ancestors, they are alive, and we have to speak with them at all the times. Before you judge me, please listen to my story. For the spirit world, it is for real, but at the same time, I do not want to throw away my tradition because of Christianity. My grandmother taught us that you cannot escape your heritage. You cannot leave it behind and try to be someone new. You have to do the things that your ancestors want you to do. She used to say that you can go to university, you can go to wherever you want to go to, but know that your ancestors, they will be following you and they would be the ones that will be guiding you. When I was in my early 20s, I went off to university. I was determined, focused, and felt like the world was opening up for me. But that was when it all started to change. Like, it started slowly. Like, I would have a headache. Whilst I'll be having that headache, then I'll start to hear voices that will be speaking with me this way. Voices I later found out of my other grandmother, who is the one who wanted me to answer to her calling so that I can become a Sangoma like she was when she was still alive. Things really changed. I was about halfway through my studies when the dreams began. They were vivid, unsettling dreams filled with people dressed in traditional clothing. Do you know that those people that you usually say have bipolar, most of them, if you were to investigate, you'll find out that they have an ancestral calling. So when you have an ancestral calling, sometimes you act up as someone who has mixed emotions because of the spirits that will be possessing you. And I used to hear voices chanting in languages, some that were ancient that I could not understand. In my dreams, I would see rivers, I would see forest, mountains, going to the river, going to collect some herbs there. I will see a snake there in the river, a snake that liked me a lot, a snake that would call me by my own name, saying that I do come from it and I belong to it and I cannot change the DNA. Therefore, I have to answer to this call. When I would try to scream, that is what confuses me. In my dream, I would try to scream out to the name of the Lord, but when I would scream out Jesus Christ, the snake will take me and it will say, if you think that you do not belong to me, let me show you that indeed you do. It will grab me and go with me underneath the water. When I will be about to suffocate, then it would bring me back to where there would be dry land, and it will say that you are my daughter, you belong to me, your ancestors, they worshipped me. So are you supposed to worship me as well? At first I thought that these were like really weird dreams, and I would brush it off, convincing myself that maybe I was too stressed, but these dreams, they were not like normal dreams. Most of the people out there, I'm sure that they never had those kind of dreams. They felt too real, as if I was actually being pulled into another world. Sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would find myself sweating, wet as if I had just came out of the water. I would even hear like a voice, but this would be more like a vision. I would see my ancestors standing around my bed, watching me, and they will be calling me, telling me to pay attention to them. It was no longer the dreams, terrible headaches, migraines that would come out of nowhere, leaving me feeling drained and weak. I would go to the doctors, tried all kinds of medication, but nothing worked. I started missing classes, skipping your social events. My friends noticed, and I lied to them that I was just an introvert, but I could not explain a lot. How could I tell them that I was feeling all of these things, since my friends, they were all Christians and they could not understand what I was going through? Finally, I went home to visit my family. I was exhausted, barely able to get through the day without collapsing. That was when Ugogo took me, and she took one look at me and knew that something was wrong. She said, "Child, come, let us sit down." She sat me down, looked at me straight in the eye and said, "The ancestors are calling you. They want you to become a Sangoma." Like, she just told me that this was what was supposed to be done. I knew that she was right, but I was not ready to accept it. I told her that I did not want to become a Sangoma, that I had my own dreams. I wanted to live my own life. I wanted to return back to school, but the ancestors, she warned me, they are patient with you, but they will not wait for you forever. You cannot ignore them. I ignored her warning, convinced that I could do more to life if I wanted. I continued praying. But when I returned back to school, things got so worse. I got so sick. And when I tell my own story, there are people that think that maybe I am just exaggerating. I was really sick. I would be rushed to the hospital. There was even one time when I was declared dead upon arrival at the hospital, but all of a sudden, one doctor took a look at me and she said, "How? This one is still alive. How can you say that she is dead?" That is what was happening to me. Anyway, I finished my studies and I moved to Joburg for a job. I thought that maybe I'll start a new life, but things did not get any better. I kept on feeling that my ancestors, they were calling me. I tried everything as a professional, going for professional counseling, medication and prayer, fasting, but nothing helped me. My life kept on falling apart. Eventually, my ancestors, they attacked my finances. I had a dream, and in my dream, I saw Ugo coming to me and telling me that now they were going to tie down my finances to show me that I was a nobody without them. I would work so hard, yet there would be nothing to show for it. It felt like I was cursed. I was destined to fail. No matter how hard I tried to change my fate, and my grandmother kept on calling me. One day, when my life was at the lowest, I finally gave in after I had been called by a debt collector. And as soon as I walked into her room, she looked at me and said, "You have been keeping them for too long." That was when I was taken to a Sangoma. The Sangoma agreed to guide me through the Ukutwasa initiation process. It was a journey that I was not prepared for. I had to live under the guidance of that Sangoma, understanding the spiritual world and reconnecting with my ancestors. I performed rituals that I never thought I would perform as a Christian woman, but as time went on, that was when I started to feel better. Those dreams that used to be so scary, I used to enjoy those dreams now, and each and every time when I would go to bed, I'll be like, I just wish that maybe I can have such a dream. So here I am right now. I answered to the calls of my ancestors, but it really confuses me because I really love to be a Christian, but can I become a Christian and at the same time can I become a Sangoma, answering to the calls of my ancestors? Please judge me, but when you judge me, do not insult me. I'll be following through in the comment section. dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister, and that was the translation of the message that she sent to me. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.